Despite denials from big companies and things, do you think it's happening already? I'm not just talking about Ukraine. I'm talking about here, counter-cyber attacks in the UK and in other parts of Europe.
Well, everybody's on high alert at the moment, Eamon. We had the BA, the British Airways outage last weekend, which they've now said was just rubbish computer systems rather than being hacked by an external entity. But there's definitely a concern that this is happening. We've had multiple attacks on Ukrainian websites, state websites, banks, etc. The Kremlin website hadn't worked for about 5 days the last time I checked it, due to repeated cyber attacks from external organizations. We haven't heard of anything major yet in the UK or in Europe, but it is a matter of time, because you go back to the old adage that anything we can do to them, they can do to us. You've got multiple parties who might want to inflame some sort of cyber conflict between the West and Russia at the moment. Don't forget, you've got the North Koreans have got a pretty able cyber defense team, because at some stage they worked out it was cheaper and more effective to spend greater amounts of money on cyber warfare than it was to buy lots of conventional weapons. So there is a concern that various parties will have access to the tools to do this. There's been a case in the last few days in that's targeted the Ukraine, and there's a new piece of malware, and this is called Isaac Wiper. Now, you don't need to worry too much about the name, but what happened here, when we go back to 2017, when we had the big attack on which took down the NHS for several days, that was actually a piece of malware that was created by the Russians to cause destruction in the Ukraine. Hackers then got hold of it and started almost effectively selling it commercially. Now, that piece of malware, which impacted computers around the world, did over $10 billion worth of damage. And that's without a missile or anything being fired. So these cyber attacks, when they happen to businesses, be it the ransomware attacks, which lock up all of your files and stop you from accessing stuff and try to make you pay a ransom, or something that just physically wreaks havoc and damage to a computer network and requires experts to come in and put it all back together, very, very costly and very time consuming.